just stay alongside you until you're finished. And I think originally he had planned to take a retirement before, but the kind of leader he is, the kind of friend he is, he said, no, I'll stay with you until you're finished. I hope you all know how much I appreciate him, and in turn how much I appreciate all of you. So many of the leaders of the Reformed Episcopal Church have been leaders in the Anglican Church in North America. When it came time to hand out the most difficult task that I had to hand out, which was to ask someone to chair the theological task force on holy orders, in which we, as a church, figured out how to do with the two different practices in the Anglican Church in North America, the two different practices in Anglicanism globally concerning the ordination of women to the presbytery. It was to David Hicks that I turned. And he's done a splendid job in that very difficult work, keeping everybody together and establishing the principles by which we can make the decisions that theologically were never made in an earlier season anywhere, really, in Anglicanism. I turned to David, I turned often to Boyd Grote, who's been on our executive committee, Ray Sutton, who's been the chair of our ecumenical task force. We've had a couple of quiet junkets to Rome. Maybe I shouldn't mention that here. I don't know. But it wasn't with the idea of swimming the Tiber, never fear. We were trying to convince them to swim the Channel, but it's been hard sailing. I was going to stay with them. At any rate, so many of you, in so many ways, have been part of the success of the Anglican Church in North America. We are really, in this great season, English church historian Colin Poplar has described what's happened here in the last 15 years as something that's rarely happened in church history, where groups that had separated are actually restoring the unity in order that the church might be one and the witness of Anglicanism might be really reestablished and reunified. You've been part of that. You're the first of those who stood in that long season where those of us who stood for the faith once delivered with the Reformed Episcopal Church from 1873 that first stood, and you developed a long and noble culture, and we're just putting all the cultures together. We're now, this coming assembly will be 29 diocesan jurisdictions. The 29th is the jurisdiction for the armed forces and chaplaincy. We'll be delighted to actually formalize that relationship. What I'd say, just finally to you all, having this opportunity for which I thank you very much, is what Paul writes, and I think it in the same way, where Paul writes in the first chapter of his letter to the church in Philippi, I thank my God whenever I think of you in my prayers, thanking him for our partnership in the gospel. We've done it together. We can't do it any other way. We have a long past and a very noble and under God's grace, bright future. So bless you all, and may you prosper in this council. And for those of you who can come across state at the end of the month, come join us in the city